Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at a very cool technique. We're going to be analyzing one aspect of how Guillermo Rigondeaux uses his lead hand. There's been a lot made about his lead hand, especially when he was in the prime of his career and how he doesn't have a jab, etc. But as we're going to see in this film study, he uses it extremely intelligently and he's able to control and set traps with his lead hand. So this is going to be hopefully a short video just looking at one aspect of one of the most misunderstood fighters. Let's get into it. The first example we're going to take a look at is actually Rigondeaux's pro debut. And he's able to knock out, or at least knock down Nogueira in about 15 seconds, as we'll see. And the theme for this whole film study is going to be how Rigondeaux uses his lead hand as a decoy so that he can get his opponents, orthodox opponents, to throw the right hand, and he can then counter at the same time, after, or before even. So let's take a look at this. This is the very first round. First thing that Rigondeaux does is establish his lead hand, the southpaw right hand, against the orthodox lead hand. Now, the important thing right here, as we'll see, is Nogueira engages in the lead hand play, as you say. He's also pawing against it. If he didn't, Rigondeaux would jab. But since he isn't, they engage in the lead hand play. You can see this isn't a jab, it's not offense. Rigo is disrupting both his vision and Nogueira's ability to shoot a fast and sharp jab because his jab is halfway out. Andre Ward calls this the half a man stance. Oh, I'm sorry, he doesn't call it half a man stance. He uses this a lot. It's called the half a man stance. And similarly to the Philly shell in the way SOG uses it, but that lead hand is out to disrupt vision, control opponents. This is similar to what Rigo is doing. So you can see, engages in lead hand play, and all he's trying to do is to force the right hand shot out of the orthodox opponent so he can counter it. So he's extremely patient. He's not jabbing, because if he was to jab, the opponent could counter, the opponent can get into a whole bag, but it's basically a test of patience, a test of wills. Is the opponent going to be intelligent enough to not throw the right hand, or are they just going to fall into it after their jab has been disrupted? When you think about the alignment of a southpaw to orthodox, this is what creates this environment. If it was an orthodox, or two southpaws, it wouldn't be the same. And if we studied Rigo fighting southpaws in the limited film there is, we would see that it's not the same. But Rigo versus an orthodox, because of the alignment of the lead hands, he's able to engage in this lead hand play. Oftentimes he'll come over the top, shoot a jab, but really he wants to disrupt that line of vision and disrupt the orthodox jab to force the right hand so he can counter. And that's exactly what happens as we take a look. More lead hand play. Nogueira's panicking right now. He doesn't really have a jab anymore, and all he has is a right hand. He doesn't have any patience. So Rigondeaux has now cut off what he has to worry about. Similarly to Floyd Mayweather, I was talking about that in a previous video, about how the Philly shell, or the shoulder roll defense, depending on what you want to say, leaves the right hand open. As we all know, you see someone in the Philly shell, you're like, oh, they're going to get hit with right hands. And the beautiful thing about it is, if someone is really, well equipped to use the Philly shell defense, they're not going to get hit with right hands because they'll roll the shoulder, but also they've eliminated so many of the punches that they have to worry about, so they can simplify a fight in their mind. They don't have so many variables to worry about. They have to worry about the right hand, and a lot of other things are taken care of because of the nature of the defense. And someone who doesn't have to think about all the variables is going to be a step ahead, and this is what Rigondeaux is doing. He's stopping the variable of a jab from Nogueira by using his lead hand and establishing that. He's not looking to jab Nogueira, he's looking to negate Nogueira's jab and force Nogueira to throw the right hand. And this is exactly what happens, as we will see. Boom. Rigondeaux is just waiting. The body language comes like the right hand's going to come. Massive rear uppercut to the body. And Nogueira is hurt by that because Rigo does have power. And then again, look at the patience. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Goes back to pawing with the lead hand so that Nogueira is not able to come in or jab. He's waiting for the right hand. Body language of the right hand coming, the exact same shot. So, this is technique. This is not an accident that the same exact shot happened twice in a row. But that shows the patience of Rigondeaux to stick to a game plan, and it shows that he's looking for something. He's not just going in the ring fighting. He's looking for specific sequences. He's looking to control his opponent and create specific sequences even with this, especially with this technique. So left uppercut to the body, the rear uppercut, waiting for the right hand, pawing, stopping Nogueira from jabbing. The variables have been eliminated. Certain variables. He doesn't have to worry about this lead hand nearly as much of Nogueira. He's just clarifying the fight, simplifying things, and he's worried about the right hand. So now Nogueira comes with the right hand again, as we've seen, the uppercut. And at this point, Nogueira's fundamentals have gone out the window. Comes with a bad right hand, chin is exposed, and it's just a matter of time now. He's flustered. Those body shots had an effect on him. He goes into a massive high guard. His body's completely exposed, and Rigondeaux is able to just see that he has a beaten opponent already, and just attacks, drops him. This is about 15 seconds in a fight, and using one technique, he's able to get a knockdown.
Is going to be a lot more difficult to deal with than anything Rigondeaux is dealing with, at least tonight.
Left hand to the body from the gold medalist, and scores a knockdown just 19 seconds into his pro career.
Here's another beautiful example of the technique from the same fight. Rigondeaux comes, pawing with the lead hand, as we can see. He's just waiting for Nogueira's right hand. And, as you say, he gets in his bag as soon as the right hand comes. So we can see it's almost as if it's a sequence in his mind. It's like you flip a switch and certain things are going to happen. Take a look at this. He's waiting for the right hand to come. That's what he wants. He wants Nogueira to throw his power punch. That's a powerful position to be in when you want someone to throw what they think is going to knock you out. Nogueira comes with the right hand, slip, boom, the same uppercut, then comes again to the head. Head didn't really land, but still. The effect that has, it landed, but not cleanly. The effect that has for Nogueira, though, throwing a right hand when you really want it to land, and you get countered with a two-piece, mentally, that defeats you. Three-piece, excuse me. So there's another instance of the exact same technique.
Well, Rigondeaux may be the one who came all the way over from Cuba, but no mistake about it, he is the host here tonight.
Okay, I want to keep the video at least semi-short, but let's just take a look at how this one technique won Guillermo Rigondeaux the fight against Tion Kennedy. He was able to dominate Kennedy because Kennedy was not able to make an adjustment to the lead hand of Rigondeaux. Take a look at this. We can see, we've seen this movie before. Pawing with the right hand. As soon as Kennedy comes to make a move, left uppercut. We've already seen that. Then back to the pawing. So the underrated thing about this is the discipline of Rigondeaux to keep to that, to keep to the game plan. Because it can easily go wrong if he doesn't. But we'll talk about that later. Pawing. As soon as the right hand is shot, the counter comes. Staggers him. Maybe a knockdown. Hard to see from that angle. But this is not accidents. This is the sweet science. The science is I'm cutting off the variable of my opponent's lead hand, and I'm waiting for him to try and knock me out with the right hand, and I'm going to beat him off that. So right hand comes, boom, knockdown. I'm not editing these together. These are back to back. Exact same sequence. It's kind of funny. I'm no disrespect to Kennedy at all, but it's almost funny because it's the exact same sequence 3 times in a row. Pause with the right hand, his lead hand. Kennedy comes with his right. Boom. Counter left. Same thing has happened 3 times in a row. Let's keep watching. And now, as we see from the Nogueira fight, Rigondeaux senses that he's wobbled, goes to work. And eventually gets the knockdown.
And, he studied exactly the position to throw his left hand. He's studying all of the movements of Kennedy where he can feel whether I can throw it through the center this time. Next time I'm going to throw it on the side. He's mixing it up. Or either I'll let Kennedy throw a right hand and I'll counter it by shooting my left hand after he misses.
That's a great point, Emmanuel. He's thrown the left hand straight. He has swept it. He has thrown it as an uppercut.
So in that clip, you heard the late great Emmanuel Stewart break down perfectly what he was seeing right before his eyes. Exactly right. He knows what's going on. Rigo is throwing the left hand beautifully. He's countering with variety, as we saw. Throw the uppercut, throw the straight left hand, throw the overhand left. He's keeping Kennedy guessing. He's countering his right hand, and it's an art to watch. In this clip, we can get into another more subtle aspect of the same technique. Tian Kennedy now comes with 2 hard jabs followed up by a right hand. Rigo is still able to counter and gets a knockdown. So the underrated thing about the lead hand control is because of the alignment of the southpaw orthodox, Rigo's left hand has now made it much more clear when an opponent is going to come and attack, because an opponent has to do more to get over the top of his lead hand. The opponent is going to have to show his cards. Because Rigo's hand is here, you're either going to have to come with a strong double jab, showing your intentions, or you're going to have to come with a hook, but the hook is going to have to be angled in a certain way over the top, if you can imagine Rigo's right hand. It's going to have to be angled over the top, and all of that is showing Rigo that you're moving forward. So it's hard to feint, hard to move in because of his right hand, because of Rigo's lead hand. So in this sequence, Kennedy comes with a strong double jab, but because of Rigo's right hand, he sees it coming. The body language is clear. Right hand comes, and he still waits on the right hand. So double jab comes. Rigo's still watching the right hand. Counters over the top. And also takes the step, which is underrated. Sees the right hand coming. Takes a step that way to get the angle. That's another breakdown, though. We'll save that for another time. So double jab comes. Boom. Actually jabs before it, kind of an uppercut. Gets the knockdown. So that's another small aspect, small benefit. It's part of the system of Rigo's right hand. The ability for that to make opponents sell out when they're going to attack because of the position of the lead hands. If you're going to come over the top of the lead hand, it's going to be abundantly clear, and Rigo is going to have much more time to react to that for a man who already has fast reflexes.
And you notice Rigondeaux does not use his jab much. He doesn't use his right hand too much. He basically concentrates on trying to set up opponents for a good left hand shot, whether it's a left uppercut, straight through the middle, or left on the side. There's a left uppercut. Doesn't use his right jab too much. He places his punches mainly with his left hand. Kennedy has avoided getting hit cleanly with that left hand of Rigondeaux, and as a result, it's been a fairly interesting round. Even though he hasn't been able to land any clean punches, he's watching out for the variety of left hand punches from Rigondeaux, and has kind of neutralized the attack of Rigondeaux at this point.
So as you just heard right there, Emmanuel Stewart commented that the round is a bit more interesting due to the fact that Kennedy doesn't throw the right hand. And so, it goes back to the conversation I was talking a little bit about. I don't want to go too much about it, but the discipline of Rigondeaux, or however you want to call it, if Kennedy's not throwing the right hand, not much is happening. Rigo is adamant that he wants to win the fight a certain way, and he's not going to put himself in harm's way. And so I know there's so many different opinions about, is he a boring fighter? Should it be this? Should it be that? what I say is let's just analyze the technique and appreciate it, because whether you are boxing or not, you can appreciate it. And if you are boxing, then this could be something you can add to your style. Even if you have an aggressive style, we should be familiar with all the ways that people, great thinkers, great artists, use their craft, their conceptions of how the fight game goes. And this is a clear technique that we can analyze, see in use, and put into our own game as fighters.
He's throwing the right hand, even the jab, so gingerly, you wonder if there's something wrong with it, Rigondeaux.
So you can see right here, we hear Max Kellerman question whether Rigondeaux has injured his right hand, and that's the difference. No disrespect to Max, but that's the difference of the eye of Emmanuel Stewart seeing what Rigondeaux is up to. And Max, I don't blame him. It looks, what is this guy doing? That's not a jab. That's not what we see from most fighters. Just as probably the first person who was in the Philly shell, the people around them probably said, "What are you doing? That's insane." But there's nothing wrong with his hand. This is his style. This is a technique that he's using. This is a way of thinking.
Here we see Rigondeaux just placing his punches very well, anticipating the position of Kennedy's right hand. We went directly through the center this time, just as Kennedy was jabbing. And now he comes right back with another one of them straight through the center again. And here we see the next knockdown, which is right on the side of the head, just as Kennedy was punching himself and left himself slightly open.
And let's just look at one or two more examples. Here's from a more recent fight with Solis. You can see the lead hand clarifying in his mind as Solis is moving forward, stopping for Solis from giving any kind of attack with his own lead hand. Rigo's watching that right hand, as we've said, and watching the shoulders of Solis, watching the body language. So Solis doesn't even throw the right hand, but as you can see, he rotates the shoulders and Rigondeaux slips. This is the exact same sequence as the Nogueira fight, if you remember that one. It's just that here Solis doesn't throw it. Nogueira threw that right hand, and in the last one, Rigo slips, comes back with the uppercut to the body. Let's see what he does. I wonder what happens. Right? Uppercut to the body. Left hook after. So it's the exact same sequence. 20 years later? Okay, here's just about the last example we'll take a look at. This is 2 or 3 seconds after that last example in the Solis fight. Rigo goes back to his game plan, back to what he does, touching the lead hand, touching the lead hand, touching. Solis takes the step, and Rigondeaux counters as the punch is coming. So sometimes he'll counter after, sometimes he'll counter at the same time. I would say this one's, same time / before, because Solis takes the step, shows that the right hand's going to come, boom, uppercut, staggers him. Then the left hands come. Right, that's already a knockdown. So all these knockouts, all these knockdowns, some knockouts, are coming from the same technique. And it's amazing to me that some of these fighters aren't better prepared, especially Solis, because you've had film of Rigondeaux for 20 years. And if you ask me, okay, well, he's stopping my lead hand, and all I have is a right hand, what am I supposed to do? It takes some intelligence, but you should be able to come up with something. What I would say is you need to start first round coming with a jab over the top to see how he reacts. Rigondeaux's going to back up. Okay, then you jab to the body. He's going to back up. He's going to be taking the distance. What you really need to do, though, is either throw the right hand with little to no power, all speed, and then maybe a check hook afterwards, knowing that he's going to come and counter and being aware of your head position. Or you feint the right hand with the shoulders. He's going to either come down this way, as we've seen, to slip to throw the uppercut, and you can take an angle this way and then work, or you feint the right hand with your shoulders and then come up with some other work. If someone is so reactive to a certain punch, you have to be smart enough to make them react to it and then get into your bag. So you have to play chess against someone who's a chess master. You can't just expect to play checkers. So, is that unattractive to some fighters who want to go in and just bully them? I don't know. But to me, if I was training a fighter going against Rigondeaux, that would be a huge part of the game plan, is acknowledging that he's waiting to counter your right hand. And so what other things, how can we use that to our advantage? He thinks he's using it to his advantage. How can we use that to ours? So it's going to be not giving up on the lead hand, using some creative techniques to disrupt what he's doing, and then a lot of feints and decoy right hands to get him into a position. But Solis doesn't do that.
And landed one according to show stats.
There's a left short uppercut to the breadbasket by Rigondeaux as Solis closed the distance.
And that's a very good punch for him, that left uppercut.
There's a left uppercut, staggered, and Solis held up by the ropes. Referee Estevez intervenes. That is going to be ruled a knockdown.
This guy's a genius. I'm telling you, Rigondeaux.
All right, you guys, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Just want to say a quick update. I'm going to start putting a bit more effort into the channel. I did the videos primarily just because I enjoy talking about it. I didn't really think that anyone would watch any of the videos, but I've been getting some good feedback, and that's giving me some motivation to keep going and share some of my thoughts on the sweet science, because that's all this is. It's just some of my thoughts. And thank you for the support. If you have any ideas about the channel, videos, things you want broken down, I'm coming out with a video pretty soon that I'm really excited about, so stay tuned with that. And I'm going to plan to keep it pretty much the same format, not a lot of intros or fancy stuff, just talking about the sweet science. So thanks for the support, and I'll be seeing you guys soon. Peace.